You train, you eat right, you stay disciplined, you look in the mirror and see nothing, no changes. It feels like nothing is happening. You skip parties, you go to the gym tired, you fight the pull of old habits, you show up even when you don't feel like it, you do the right thing, even when it's uncomfortable, even when you're exhausted, even when every part of you wants to stop. And still, the results don't come the way you expected. It feels like real change is never arriving. That's when doubt creeps in. You think about quitting, about letting it all go and going back to who you used to be, because it starts to feel like this life isn't for you. Like nothing ever changes, but right there, that's where the line is drawn. Between those who truly want it and those who hide behind excuses. Change doesn't arrive all at once. It doesn't come from training more days. It doesn't come from forcing it. It comes after you've been consistent for so long that quitting is no longer an option. So don't stop, even if no one notices, even if no one applauds, because you're doing something that almost no one can tolerate. And that says far more about you than you realize. Then one day it hits you. This already made you better, a better version of yourself. You feel more energy, you feel stronger. And one day you look back and you don't recognize the person you used to be, because that's the day discipline became habit. And without even noticing, you arrived at what you were searching for, results. Today I'm bringing you 5 rules. They're not designed to motivate you. They're designed to change how you act when no one is watching. They don't promise fast results. They don't promise magical transformations. They promise something far more dangerous. They promise to turn you into someone consistent. If you apply these rules, you'll stop depending on motivation. You'll stop negotiating with yourself, and you'll start building a life based on action, not emotion. And when that happens, change stops being a hope and becomes inevitable. Today I want you to understand something important. These rules don't just change your body, they change the relationship you have with yourself. Because the problem isn't the gym. The problem is living in reaction to how you feel, to motivation, to mood, to fatigue. These rules break that cycle. And when you stop depending on how you feel, you start taking control. Rule 1. Motivation is not a foundation, it's a bonus. Motivation is fragile. It depends on the weather, on stress, on the kind of day you had. If you use motivation as your engine, your progress will be unstable. Consistency, on the other hand, doesn't need permission. Once you understand this, you stop asking yourself if you feel like it, and you start asking a different question. What needs to be done today? That single question changes everything. Rule 2. Consistency is built on normal days. Life doesn't change on epic days. It changes on ordinary ones. Days when no one is watching. Days when nothing special happens. Days when showing up doesn't feel heroic, but those days stack up. And one day you realize you're no longer negotiating with yourself. Rule 3. Showing up matters more than performing. The mistake is believing every day has to be perfect. It doesn't. A mediocre workout, done with discipline, is worth more than a perfect one, done once a month. When you show up at 60%, you teach your mind that it's not in control. And that lesson spills into everything else. Rule 4. Motivation makes you start. Consistency changes who you are. Everyone begins with fire, and fire burns out. Consistency doesn't shine, but it stays. And when something stays long enough, it becomes identity. You no longer train because you're motivated. You train because it's who you are. Rule 5. If you need to feel like it, you've already lost. As long as your actions depend on your emotions, your life stays limited. Consistency is freedom, because you act even when you don't feel it. And when you do that, again and again, you become someone who doesn't break on bad days. These rules don't promise fast results. They promise something better, becoming someone who doesn't quit. Do it when you don't feel like it. That's where real change begins. If you liked this, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss the next videos. And if you have any questions or a topic you'd like us to talk about, leave it in the comments. Now take a few minutes and think, what didn't I do today that I could have done? And how could I make that small change tomorrow?